life. But I feel
Yeah,
some people need to
I think
understand.
the big thing that people get lost in, maybe get lost in the enormity of what is happening to your body.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
It's understandable. I completely get it, but I think for me, it's looking at your mindset and looking at like how do you move forward now with what you've got. And I think some people like feel that they've lost a normal life, but what I would ask people to do is to maybe ask themselves, well, what is a normal life? Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? There's everything happened to me whenever I turned 30, effectively, which says everything about turning 30 and nothing about
yeah, a massive combustion. There you are, you turn 30 and smash, there you go.
yeah.
Have a
And
bowel disease.
one of the biggest things for me was actually getting back up to just running 10 minutes
Yeah,
continuously, and that was a milestone. And that took about six. Did it take how long did it take? Must have been about a good 4, maybe 6 months. Like I know a lot of that, like admittedly, I possibly could have done it sooner, but I
yeah,
think there's a lot of personal adaptation going, and things like that. And I was just looking for distractions. But then when I got back into training, I think I did some basic rehab, and then I think about month 3, then I started actually training under my own steam
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and just going through the walk jog sort of process, which basically breaking down a run. Um, I then got up to like 10 minutes, and then it was like 20 minutes, and then all of a sudden, I was running for 30 minutes, and that was huge. But it was like before that, I was running 10Ks in under 40 minutes. So
Yeah,
it's, do you know what I mean? That in itself was a massive shock, like not being able to run, not even, and wasn't the fact that I couldn't run per se, I just didn't even have the energy to do it. And
yeah.
I
But
think,
it's finding the new norm. Is like
yeah,
essentially what you're describing there is setting smaller goals, setting goals, but realistic goals as well. It's not just saying, right, I'm going to get back to where I was within a small time frame. That's it's not that it'll never happen. It's just going to take that much longer because your body dynamics are a little bit different now, or a lot different in some
life's
cases.
too
So
short, well, isn't it? Life's just too short to get yourself hung up on doing that. And I think
yeah,
look at
yeah,
your focus on you rather than what other people are doing.
yeah,
Because there's loads of people, like, we're surrounded by social media now where all you see is pictures of people having a wonderful life doing crazy shit.
yeah.
But actually, if you just focus on yourself, focus on what you did yesterday, and can you do better than that today, that's
Well,
going to win half
That's
the battle.
essentially that's what I found difficult in the last kind of 6 months with the surgery I've had and the dramatic change to my body shape and the way I feel is that I've stayed as clear as I can from things like Instagram and Facebook, where you'll see people in better condition, competing and doing all the things you think, I just wish I could be back there as soon as possible. But the start realization is it's going to take a long time to get back there, and it may not even get back there. But going on these sites and sometimes make you feel hugely deflated, and you can't compare yourself to them people. At one time I could, and dare I say it, probably better than some of them, but now my body's a bit different, and the dynamics of my body are a lot different. So I have to accept what's going on in my body and then approach the way I want to train from my perspective for what I'm able to achieve. Now that's not saying let's not aim for stars, let's not ever set ourselves difficult targets. It just means to slowly catch you. It's going to take a little bit longer to get there than what you would do normally or prior to surgery. So
Yeah.
it's understanding how your body feels and not just looking at others and thinking, oh, I can get back there, or I'm going to get back there, or I feel really down that I can't be at that standard right now.
Yeah, and I think, yeah, that's massive. Like looking at people like, oh, I'm going to run a 4-minute mile. Okay, well, can you walk a mile? Can you walk a mile?
Well, that
You know,
never happened for me anyway. That would never have happened
yeah,
if I had an all in my bottom, which I haven't anymore, so that doesn't matter.
but it's like people should set audacious goals. I'm definitely one of these people that thinks an audacious goal is something good to set. But what I think a lot of people fail to do is, like you're saying, is set those intermediary goals. Like,
Yes.
it's very good setting a goal for running a 3-hour marathon or bench pressing 120 kilos. Um, but what are you going to do to get there? And it's that journey and facing those little stepping stone goals, if you want to call it that. So it's like a 20-minute 5K. Well, okay, let's build up to completing a 5K, and then we'll start chipping away. Some people, and I say it all the time at this time of year, is people going out and saying, I'm going to do X, and they fail to do it in that first month, and therefore they think that they failed, rather than that's where I'm at. How do I then get to where I want to be?
Absolutely, yeah. You constantly reevaluate as well. It's not just set your target and that's my target. If I don't achieve it, then I fail. Like you said, it's reevaluate. If you don't meet that target in that time period, that's fine. There's still plenty of time ahead of you. So reevaluate. Think about how do I achieve that target from where I am now. It's exactly what you just said.
And I think the other thing what I find when people shut down, even if you decided that from next week I'm going to at least walk once a week, or I'm going to walk once a day, that's you're then doing 100% more than what you did the previous week. Do you know what I mean? So that in itself, like you're doing 100% more activity than you did just by doing one walk. You do 5 walks, that's 500% more activity than you did the previous week. That takes its toll, but that's a massive, massive achievement. And I think that's just figuring things out. So like for me at the minute, I've shift things around. We talked about earlier in the week that I've shifted my mindset for different things now, and like having family time is really important to me. So we've kind of got uber organized in our sort of daily routine. So I'll get up at between 5 and 5:30 now, and I'll spend an hour just doing bits and pieces, like looking into how do you set up a podcast, how do you set up a YouTube video channel and things like that, and just developing that so we can share our stories. But then that allows me to crush all of that time, and my goal is to actually start training around then. Then I'll have breakfast with the family, get into work, get myself up to lunchtime and work. I'll train at lunchtime, and then I get home, get dinner out by 6, and then sort out the little ones. And then by 7 o'clock, I've got a golden hour there to spend quality time with the missus, and then it's in bed ready for the next day by sort of 8:30, 9 o'clock. And that has made me so much more productive, and it's just little bits. So it started with just getting up. I mean, literally just get up, brush your teeth, go downstairs, have a coffee, and do one thing. And I did doing that one thing, and then 6:30 when everyone else is starting to get up, or the little one's going, I need a wee. I've had an hour of just, but it's just the fact that I got up, and already there's just the fact that I got up. That's my first victory. Then did one thing, that's my second victory. Then that I'm up and awake and I've had a coffee before they get up, that's my third victory. So by the time I got into work, I've had like 4 or 5 mini victories. So I'm already buoyed for the day. I'm just like, let's go get it. And then by 8 o'clock that night, I've done everything kind of that I wanted to do in that day. So it's like I'm ready to turn off now. I'm ready to go. And I don't feel guilty because I've had a bit of time in the morning with the kids, a little bit of time in the evening with the kids, and then some adult time with the missus. And I've managed to fit it in. I think when I start training in the morning, again, I'm gonna have to readjust, like you said, to factor in that fatigue level a little bit more. I might have to take away training at lunchtime, and just see how that goes. But I think for you, I'm I think more affected by fatigue when I train, or it affects my productivity a lot more. So I don't know if I'll get away initially training twice a day. You managed it a lot better.
Well, like you said, that's just, you've got to build up to these things and understand, and it helps you to understand your body a little bit more than just go, right, I'm going to train twice a day. But like you said, the effects of that would be maybe adverse, is that you'd end up then going backwards. You're not actually getting the true training effects. You're going to start feeling fatigued. Your body's going to start getting a little bit more maybe catabolic because you're not getting enough energy, you're not getting the right foods. So it's small steps. But ultimately, as long as you're doing something throughout the day that makes you feel a little bit better, in regards to exercise or even just family time, you're still achieving some goals. And even if you're combining them, I don't know, say, let's go for you after work, and your children come home from school, let's actually go for a walk as a family. So you get 2 birds, 1 stone. You're going out for a walk, you're doing some kind of physical activity, and you've got quality family time. So if there are ways around it, it's just labour on the point is that there's no point with regards to having the illness. You don't just cut everything out. You don't just stop activity. You don't just stop physical activity because you got an illness. It's a way around that, because if that's one thing that kind of helps you to unwind and relax is activity, then why completely cut it out? Because that's not going to help in the long term. You're going to start feeling, a little bit down because you've not got anything to find to have that release. So don't cut everything out. Just manage it better, or find some time, work out a little plan. So that's probably a better way of doing it than completely shutting out any activities.
We're coming up about sort of 47, 48 minutes.
Okay.
So we'll look at wrapping it in. So
yeah.
John, what would your takeaway be? What would you from today's episode? What would you want people to take away from it? What would be your 3 key areas to take something away from here?
Firstly, it's just to understand that it's not the be all and end all. Even with just the diagnosis, first of all, it's not the be all and end all. It doesn't have to define who you are or what you're able to do. Secondly, don't stop what you're doing because of this. Try and work out ways around how you can set little goals and not just think, right, that's it, got a diagnosis, I'm not going to get any better, I'm not going to get back to where I was, so let's ultimately just stop what I'm doing. That's not the point, that's not the approach, because you've got to be positive throughout. Thirdly is just, there is light at the end of the tunnel. It's a horrible, debilitating disease, but I found for myself is that a lot more people out there experiencing these kind of problems, and the more you talk about it, and the more people you get involved, you can flow off each other and understand what works for them that might actually work for you that you never thought about before. So just having a good support group as well, and just get out there and enjoy it and embrace it, and just try and overcome everything. It's a horrible hurdle to overcome, but with support to family, friends, and people that have been through the same kind of thing, is that there is light at the end of the tunnel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think for me, I pretty much would just echo that. Like, the first thing is that you're never alone.
Yeah, absolutely.
We were talking earlier about we stand alone together.
Yeah.
But in that, you're never actually truly really alone. There's always people there. So I never suffer in silence. There's always someone you can speak to, and just don't feel ashamed about it. One of the biggest things for me was, and it's probably just the person that I am anyway, is the first conversation I had with anybody since I was diagnosed and had a colostomy bag was to instantly talk about the colostomy bag. I just elephant in the room. I'm gonna talk about it. All of a sudden, just because I did that, it removed any sort of stigma around it. It removed that I took it, I owned it, and because I'm talking about it, then I'm on the front foot.
Yeah, so, absolutely. I agree.
Yeah, and then just do that one thing. You do one thing. If you weren't doing it before, you're doing, like we said before, you're doing 100% more than what you were doing the day before. So do one thing, that's 100% more than you were doing before.
Yeah. Okie doke. Yeah, absolutely agree.
Like, all right, guys, I hope you got something from that today. Me and John's got to go back to being dads now and sort out some 3-year-olds.
Get him to bed.
All that fun and games. But yeah.
I'll get my teeth done and everything.
Get you teeth. Yeah, with that. I need a facelift. I need a facelift. Okay, guys, that concludes today's episode. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to press the like button down below. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're going to be backwards and forwards updating you with more information on Crohn's and colitis and generally sharing our story. So, I will see you guys.